Technical side, what are some of the non-negotiable features a system need to have to support e-invoices?
The UAE is implementing one of the most unique models in the world because they have different models to implement e-invoicing. So this is kind of unique.
As a leader, what is required for me to change my own mindset and then come to the culture of the organization, right from the CEO till the clerk?
At least for the next 2 to 3 years, we will be busy with e-invoicing because corporate tax, of course, it's new. But it's all once in a year, right?
Yeah.
You're filing it once a year.
And people are getting used to that now.
Yeah. In the long run, businesses will thank the UAE government
Definitely.
for implementing this. I personally firsthand know a lot of business struggling because their suppliers are not paying their VAT correctly. Because of that, they are being denied refunds. Before 2018, you would not have seen any position called tax manager. Now on LinkedIn, every day I see, okay, this company is hiring a tax manager, that company is hiring a VAT manager.
Will this system be integrated because now everything is electronic? So I don't have to go separately to CA to file my returns and all that. Or do I still need to do that? Hello everyone. Welcome to Business and Leadership Podcast, Iota to Alpha. Today we have a very special guest, Ekansh Agrawal. He's distinguished chartered accountant and an expert in indirect tax and tax technology. Not only that, with over decades of experience at leading Big Four firms across multiple global jurisdictions, he brings wealth of practical knowledge. He is also host of podcast Walk the Talk. So I insist you follow that. He is a prolific content creator, renowned for his ability to demystify complex topics into compelling stories from both sides, business and advisory. So let's welcome Mr. Ekansh Agrawal. Thank you so much, Ekansh, for joining us today.
Thanks Neetu for having me. It's so good to be on this side of the table for once. Normally I'm the one asking the tough questions, but today I would say it's sort of an easy role for me because I don't need to bother about lighting, editing, the camera angle. So pleasure to be here and looking forward to this interesting conversation on one of the buzzwords in town.
That's right. Yeah. I think everyone is curious about it. So beyond it being a digital invoice, what exactly is the e-invoicing and why now? Because most people don't know about it right now. We know about the taxation and UAE tax is there, and now the tax filing is done in September. But e-invoicing is something new for all businesses. So if you can explain about it, what it is and why it is now.
Yeah, so e-invoicing, a lot of people misinterpret as sort of a PDF invoice or sort of a scanned copy of a paper invoice. But we must understand, first of all, the background and why it was introduced by UAE in particular. So UAE announced 5 key projects a couple of years ago. Okay. And one of the key projects as part of their Vision 2031, UAE, the Vision 2031. So one of the projects was to introduce e-billing.
Okay.
Now, e-billing, which is equivalent to e-invoicing, that means that all the invoices in the country will be exchanged electronically. By electronically, I mean it's not on email. The invoices will have to be in a structured format. Right now, what is an invoice, right? First of all, let's understand what is an invoice. Invoice is a document that captures the details of any services or goods that are supplied. So if you go to the market, you can have various types of invoices, right? If you go to one part of Dubai, you will have a smaller type of format. You will have for B2B, you may have a different type of format. Some are creating it in Excel, some are creating it in Word, some are creating it in PDF. So we have plethora of templates of invoices. So the problem, the main problem with all those invoices is that they are not machine readable. Okay. So we as a generation are moving towards scalability, ease of doing business, and UAE as a country promotes ease of doing business, and they don't want these taxes to hold businesses back. That is why this compliance, what it will ensure, whatever the documents that you are exchanging, they will be exchanged in a seamless electronic manner, and tax authority will have real-time access to those invoices, which currently they don't have. They only get those invoices when when you do your audits at the end of the year, or when you file your tax returns every quarter or every year. So that's pretty much the foundation. What e-invoicing is. Of course, there's a lot of technicalities behind.
Yeah.
Because in order to understand all those technicalities, we must get a degree in computer science. But I'm also not an engineer. So from a core technical angle, we must understand the foundation is that e-invoicing is simply issuing invoices which are in structured format, which can be readable by a machine. And through that reading, they can do analytics on it.
Yeah.
Which presently the invoices that are being issued in PDF or email, they are not compatible with that. So
That's
pretty
right.
much that's the background.
You know, that this reminds me of one of the companies I was working with, and I think a couple of years back, and they used to manually fill a form. So the IT came and they said that, by the way, I'm from IT. So IT came and said, we were going to automate it. And they made exactly same form on system. So you have to type things and it'll be submitted.
Right.
And they named it as automation, but that's not automation. That is a digitization.
Correct.
So when you were talking about the PDF file, yes, PDF is not a digitization actually of it.
Right.
It is just like still it is different. All the businesses are having different invoices.
No, that's perfect. That you touched the very right point there. Like just people sometimes think, okay, sending an email, sending an invoice on an email. I'm already complying with the digital invoice because see, the e-invoice is known by very different nomenclatures all around the globe.
Yeah.
It was first started in Latin America. This e-invoicing, the picked pace in Latin America, Brazil, all of those countries in Latin America, and it's slowly gained traction in then Europe and other Asian countries.
Okay.
And it gained traction only after a couple of decades of introducing taxes. So the good part about UAE is that just after 7 to 8 years of implementing VAT, they are now implementing e-invoices. So they are pretty fast. Like they don't want to be left behind. So yeah, I mean, that's the core foundation. I mean, we need to understand first this just sending an invoice on email, just scanning an invoice, paper invoice, and sending it on email in PDF or Word or Excel. It's not an e-invoice. That's the foundation.
Yeah.
An e-invoice will be generated in a manner that is machine readable. It will have to be validated by an accredited service provider. We'll get into all those things as we go through our conversation, but yeah.
Okay. You know, we used to call this manually automated process.
Yeah. So
you're
it's
just
hybrid.
doing hybrid version of it.
Version.
That's right. And we see that the things don't happen in isolation.
Yeah.
So what are the benefits of having the e-invoices, like why it is now and how it's going to impact all businesses?
So why UAE and why countries globally implement e-invoice? So there are a couple of reasons. There are many reasons for that matter, but I will touch upon on the main two reasons. So why Latin American countries started with e-invoicing is because they wanted to bridge the tax gap. There's a lot of shadow economy operating in the country. And what I mean by that is a lot of transactions happen in cash.
Which are not documented.
Which are never reported in tax filings. So governments do not get access to those information. As a result, so every year the governments make a budget, right? Next year I'm going to collect this much amount of tax. So that budget never achieves because the actual tax collection is always lesser compared to the budget. So that's called the tax gap. So to bridge that tax gap, Latin American countries started implementing e-invoicing. So that's one of the reasons, key reasons. So that's also one of the reasons that's prevalent in UAE because we have seen certain very high risk sectors in the UAE. I'm personally assisting a lot of businesses on that front because they are being denied VAT refunds because their suppliers never complied with invoicing or they never paid taxes. So to safeguard these honest, genuine taxpayers, this e-invoicing is likely to plug that hole, and hopefully they can get their VAT refunds. Because right now, see, let's say I supplied goods to you. Let's say I supplied this chest to you. I charged you 1,000 dirhams for it. I issued an invoice to you. Now, how you cannot ensure that Ekansh is paying this tax on this 1,000 dirhams? You cannot ensure that because I'm issuing a paper invoice or PDF invoice. But you can never ascertain if I am reporting that tax invoice in my VAT return in the UAE. So with e-invoicing, what will happen? The invoice will come through a system that will have an authority will have real-time access to that invoice. So I cannot not report it that invoice because it's already gone through a system. I mean, today I can decide not to report an invoice, which is considered as a tax evasion. But tomorrow, I will not have that flexibility because it will come through a system which tax authority will have real-time access to. So as a customer, as well as a supplier, we both will be compliant. You can recover input tax credit on that invoice because I would necessarily pay VAT on that invoice. So that is one of the key reasons to implement e-invoicing, to bridge the tax gap and protect honest taxpayers. And the other key reason is to streamline the economy in general.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
in the bigger picture at the government level, they will have more transparency, so they can see that which sector is growing and which sector needs more support from their side, which sector is emerging. So they'll have the transparency.
Exactly. I mean, that could be one of the reasons for why UA is introducing it. The bridging the tax gap may be one of the reasons, but I think the primary reason UA is introducing it because they want to be ahead in the world. See, as you know, data is the new oil. Before VAT, companies were not even creating proper accounts. They were not even bothered about accounts until they are required to be audited. Once VAT came in, at least they started with quarterly accounting or monthly accounting and reporting their sales and purchases to the FTA, which is tax authority here in the UAE. But at least with that, FTA, the government started getting data. Okay, this sector is having this much sales. This sector is contributing this much to my GDP. This sector is having this much profit margin or something like that. But that was all on a very high scale, high level, I would say. With e-invoicing, imagine your entire business will be accessible by the government. Imagine you have issued 100,000 invoices. And if you have received 80,000 invoices from your vendors, all those invoices will be available with the government, the tax authority. They can do analytics on it like anything. They can do crazy amount of stuff on those data. And with that data, they can go to global authorities, OECD, and project, okay, this is our country. See, you can consider investing in our country. See, this sector
is booming
up. Service sector, like general trading or whatever sector, we have 25% margin in this year because you have access to each and every invoice. With that data, they can go to the world and say, go to African countries. Okay, how can I improve African countries? With this data, I can I don't need to reinvent the wheel, make the same model, implement it somewhere else. So I think that is also, people sometimes don't go to that level. They think, e-invoicing is simply a compliance or it's going to be a cost for my business. But in the larger scheme of things, if you consider, this is going to be revolutionary for the country as a whole.
Businesses come in different sizes and shapes. So some are very small. We can say that beauty salon is there or laundry business. And some are big, like manufacturing company is there, or say service provider are there, and they have scattered across the globe. So I have two questions. One is it applicable to very small businesses to the very big businesses? And the second is that if a business is scattered in different locations and suppose the other part of the world where they are operating doesn't have the e-invoices, so how is going to impact the business landscape for both cases?
It's a very important question. It's a need of the hour to understand if e-invoicing applies to me or not. So the short answer is it applies to each and everyone conducting business in the UAE. Whether you are small, medium or large, whether you are registered for VAT or not, it applies to each and every entity. Sooner or later, eventually every company, every business in the UAE having a trade license will have to comply. Even the studio that we are in, even this company will have to comply with e-invoicing. So they will probably send you invoices electronically on an e-invoicing platform in a couple of years. But the good part is UAE is not going to roll out e-invoicing for all businesses at once.
So it will be phase wise.
Yes, exactly. So they want to take it gradually because it's a massive transformation. And so the go live date is 1 July 2026. And it is expected that there will be phases, rollout phases. The exact threshold has not been prescribed yet as to which, what type of companies will come in phase 1 or phase 2, how many phases will be there. So all these things are still unclear. And we expect certain clarity probably in the next month or so. It will come in phases. It will spread around. It's not like we cannot expect phases like we have in Saudi. Saudi, we are, I think, probably 23rd or 24th phase is ongoing, wave is ongoing. we will not have
those many phases.
those 20 to 30 phases in the UAE, because the model here is very different from that of Saudi. We will discuss the model soon, but yeah, so there will be phases, maybe 3, 4, 5, but yeah, not like we have in Saudi. Yeah.
Okay. And when we talk about, there are a lot of aspects are there. One is the technical aspect and the compliance and all. How about the leadership mindset and the culture shift within the organization? Again, I'll take the example of small organization and the big one. So as a leader, what is required for me to change my own mindset and then come to the culture of the organization, right from the CEO till the clerk?
Yeah. So as I would say, first the leader, because everything flows top down, right? So if you are a leader of a business, first of all, my request, my genuine request would be to not consider it as a compliance. It's not a compliance. It's not a tax compliant at all. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for you to revamp your entire business processes. See, I was talking to my client the other day. He said, I send invoices to my clients, I send invoices to my customers. I never receive the payments of those invoices because somehow those invoices are the customer is putting a wrong bank account and they are being going to a unknown bank account. Because see, if you are a very large organization, you cannot manage everything, right? As a leader, you cannot manage procurement, HR, IT, tax, finance. You have different managers, you have different teams. Now these teams sometimes don't speak to each other. There's very little communication. Maybe the dynamics are different, but this is an opportunity to streamline everything, bring everything on one page. What will happen? The procurement team will speak to IT team. IT team will speak to tax team, and everything will be aligned. So whatever the invoices that I'm sending, they will be aligned, as in they will be going through an electronic system, and the customers will receive directly invoice from my side. Right now, invoices are sent on email, right? You never know if those invoices have been sent correctly. Have they reached the correct recipient? Sometimes I may not have the email of the right person at the customer side. Sometimes the customers, the person has left. And sometimes I forget to send the invoice. So all these issues, what they lead currently, they lead to delays in payments, receipt of payments. So if I don't receive payments, my business gets stuck. So that opportunity cost, many people don't realize that the delays in payments that they get because of sending wrong invoice. Sometimes there are mistakes in invoices. Then customer asks, okay, you didn't mention the correct PO number, you didn't mention my correct address and everything. So revise the invoice. Then again, the 30-day or 40-day or whatever the credit period starts again. So all these issues will get eliminated if you implement e-invoicing rightly. And so that's the request. So don't consider it as a compliance. It's a massive opportunity to streamline all your systems, all your teams internally, and build in processes that you always wanted to do, because we always have aspirations, but sometimes we don't get the right moment.
That's right. It just takes the backseat because other priority items are there.
Correct. So this is, now you have a good excuse. Okay, you have a good excuse to bring everything together.
That's
right. Someone will have to take the lead, of course. And it's not just the tax team. You may consider e-invoicing at par with tax, but it's not always just a tax transformation, because it involves systems, which is governed by IT. It involves budgets, which is governed by finance, and of course tax, and
procurement is also involved.
Procurement also involved. The main differences between UAE and Saudi model is that the model which UAE is implementing is a decentralized model.
Okay.
Decentralized model means the tax authority does not want to go through the hassle of approving each and every invoice. So in Saudi, what happens? So sometimes it's a big misconception in the market. I have done in Saudi, I have done it in India, so I can easily do it in UAE. So that's a big misconception. That's a big no-no. The UAE is implementing one of the most unique models in the world, because they have different models to implement e-invoicing. So this is kind of unique. It's a decentralized model where UAE, the tax authority, will not approve each and every invoice and make it an e-invoice. Rather, they are delegating that responsibility to third-party vendors. Now, these third-party vendors will be known as accredited service providers. In short, you can call it ASP, accredited service providers. In Saudi, each and every invoice gets validated first by the tax authority, Zatka, through their Fatura portal. But here, FTA will not do that. FTA is delegating the responsibility to third-party vendors. These third-party vendors are currently undergoing certifications by the Ministry of Finance. And because it's a big responsibility, right? You are responsible for having access to the data of the entire country.
Yeah, and that could lead to bottleneck also if the systems are not efficient.
Correct.
Like imagine if a big company of say 35,000 employees having business in 5 countries. So if they are like having 100 invoices in a day, and if everything has to be approved, there will be a bottleneck over there.
Right. So that's the bottleneck UAE wanted to avoid because we have seen these bottlenecks in other countries. Like whenever e-invoicing or a big transformation gets implemented, there is a bottleneck. The server doesn't work. The tax authority server is down and all of that. So they want to eliminate those situations. So if they have 20, 30 separate legal entities who are ensuring, even if one of those entities is down, it does not mean the entire country system is down.
Yeah.
The 90% of the companies can still raise invoices. There may be bottlenecks here and there, but so to avoid all those mishappenings, they are ensuring, because ultimately we are moving towards decentralization, right? Blockchain, right? Blockchain is all decentralized. The whole world is moving towards decentralization. A person cannot hold everything, right? If they focus on each and everything, then they cannot focus on something which matters the most. So that's why tax authority wants to make sure they are responsible for administering the taxes, not for day-to-day.
Yeah, day-to-day operations is taken care of providers.
So they want to just delegate, okay, you guys do it. You guys have agreements with businesses and validate invoices. I will give you the infrastructure to validate these invoices where you can exchange these in real time. But I will first make sure that you are competent enough. So in order to make sure that you're competent enough, I will check you, I will test you, and then I will certify you. Okay, now you can go ahead and integrate with the business and start validating their invoices. So that certification is currently ongoing.
Okay.
And none of the companies have been certified yet. They are all, some are in advanced stages, but none of them have been certified yet. That's what we also need to understand. Sometimes there may be companies that are propagating, okay, we are already certified, we are already accredited by the FTA. So that statement is wrong. So we need to be aware.
Actually, I'm thinking now that will this e-invoicing help in filing the tax like VAT returns and all those things? Will it help? Will this system be integrated? Because now everything is electronic. So I don't have to go separately to CA to like file my returns and all that. Or do I still need to do that?
Very, very important question. And so in some countries globally, e-invoicing, when it was introduced, the idea was that all the VAT returns should get auto-populated because now tax authority has real-time access to each and every invoice that I'm generating.
Yeah.
So they can simply auto-populate those invoices in the VAT return and total sales and total purchases and everything. But the idea is not to auto-populate the returns in the UAE. Even in Saudi, it's been a couple of years since e-invoicing was introduced, but still returns are not getting auto-populated. You still need to manually prepare your VAT returns, which as you are currently doing, and then report it on the Zatka portal in Saudi. The same thing will happen in the UAE. Now, what will happen is that once you file a VAT return in the e-invoicing regime, now authority will say, okay, you have reported to me 100, but I got 120 from you in the form of e-invoices. So the system may immediately trigger some sort of an audit or an inquiry. Okay, why have you reported 100 when you issued 120 dirham worth of invoices?
Yeah.
So that analytics, that algorithm, that those sort of triggers they can inbuilt in their system, so that these businesses cannot manipulate their VAT returns.
I have one more question. Like suppose as a business owner, so I need to have somebody who's like taking care of my e-invoices, and then I need to have somebody who's taking care of my VAT returns, like all these things. I see that there is a possibility of these two things getting integrated in near future. Not as of now, but maybe some phase will come where it will be integrated. As a business owner, it will be much easier for me because
Correct.
once I do it, everything else is taken care by system.
Yeah, I mean, most of your things should automatically flow from system. Like your returns should not be a very return preparation should not be a very lengthy process.
Yeah.
If you have already put in the right coding, right configurations in your system, whatever the ERP system that you're following, and that was supposed to be done when VAT was first introduced in 2018, 1 January 2018. But most of the businesses were not well equipped or prepared
Yeah.
to do that at that moment. So now it's a good opportunity for you to redo it. You can call it a VAT implementation 2.0, where you have that opportunity again, build those systems again. So the information, the data that flows from your system is clean. It does not require manual intervention that much. And what will ensure, so coming on to the vendors, whether I need 2 vendors or 1 vendor, see, you will definitely need an ASP. That is for sure. That's a mandate. In Saudi, you had an option. You could directly go and integrate with Saudi portal also directly if you have that capability. But here, you have to mandatorily appoint an ASP to validate your invoices. So that is one vendor for sure you need to appoint. Now that ASP may or may not have the right technical capabilities. So because there is e-invoicing, which is mostly system driven, right? Invoices are getting well rated and everything. But then there is a side of VAT. When you should issue invoices, what type of invoices should you issue, what type of tax codes you need to select. Sometimes these ASP may not have those technical acumen to advise you on that. So it will always be essential that you have another side of vendor that brings in that technical expertise,
Yeah.
which has the right knowledge of the VAT legislation, may not have the right knowledge of IT capabilities of integration and everything. So I see that there will be always 2 vendors. I mean, of course, some businesses may not need as much of technical requirements or as much of technical hand-holding. But if their systems are on point and everything is pretty smooth, then the transactions do not change much. In that case, you may just go on and do everything in-house, or you may appoint a tax manager. So a lot of businesses are now hiring tax managers. Before 2018, you would not have seen any position called tax manager. Now on LinkedIn, every day I see, okay, this company is hiring a tax manager, that company is hiring a VAT manager. So those resources can also help if you do not have a lot of complexities or anything. So yeah, to your question, you will need one ASP for sure as a vendor, as a business. You will need to appoint that. And separately, you may consider appointing a consulting partner who can bring in that VAT knowledge, VAT acumen, and guide you, okay, what is the best way forward and how to seamlessly integrate e-invoicing with VAT, and so that there are no bottlenecks and issues.
You know, as you're speaking, I'm thinking that small businesses, like those who have just started, for them having 2 vendors doing different things like e-invoicing. So how is it going to change? I'm talking about like really small businesses, those who have just started 2 or 3 years in last 2-3 years. So how is it going to impact them? And will they be able to afford these kind of requirements? Like what they should do now to be ready for what's coming next?
For now, they don't need to do anything. If they're very small, like small businesses, they're issuing, handful of invoices in a month. For now, because I expect them to be in a maybe last phase, or second to last. First of all, they need to understand that there is a mandate that is coming in. Understanding is very important. Awareness is very important.
That's right.
They may not take action right now. They should know, okay, something is coming, which they will need to comply with. One of the big misconception is also that you cannot exchange invoices on email going forward. No, you can.
Like manually automated process.
Yeah, you can still issue invoices. You can send invoices. So just having an e-invoicing infrastructure does not mean that you cannot print the invoices. You cannot convert them into PDF. You can still do that, because sometimes your customer may still ask you, because they may be old school. They may ask you, okay, give me the PDF.
Yeah.
So whatever the e-invoice that has been validated, that you can convert into PDF and still printed or whatever, you can still give it to your customer. So these small businesses, they can continue with what they are doing right now. and separately there will be an e-invoicing system which their ERP will be integrated. And even if they don't have an ERP, sometimes these very small businesses don't have an ERP. They simply issue invoices on Word, Excel file. They just keep a very Excel record.
Yeah.
So in those cases, I know personally lot of ASPs, lot of these accredited service providers, they have a function called beta model.
Okay.
What that means that you don't need to integrate your system with them. You can simply go and upload those invoices which you have issued, and they will make them, they will validate them and make it into an electronic invoice in XML format.
Superb. That'll be a big help for all small entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So you don't need to necessarily have an ERP system to comply with invoicing. A lot of these ASPs will have that model. Simply, maybe they will have, up to 100 invoices. You can directly go and manually upload.
Yeah.
Go and manually upload this invoice. It will automatically validate and go to your customer electronically. So that also I have personally seen in some of the systems on the ASP side.
That's very interesting, and this leads to the next question. Like I'm curious to know about it. If we talk about the technology aspect or the process we have seen, the technical side, what are the some of the non-negotiable features a system need to have to support e-invoices? Like as a business owner, what they should be aware of?
Another good question. See, right now, any invoice, if you look at in the UAE, it will have 10 to 15 fields.
Yeah.
By field, what I mean is that it will have your tax invoice heading, the name of supplier, the name of customer, TRN, description, amount, and everything. So all these around 10 to 15 items are there on the invoice. Now this 10 to 15 is going to expand to 40 to 50.
Okay.
So the number one non-negotiable is that is your system ready to incorporate these additional 30 to 40 fields? Is your system compatible? Even if it's not ready, is it able to add those additional fields even for an upgrade or anything? Of course, the IT vendor will definitely send an invoice for each and every field. But yeah, your system should be ready. So that's the number one non-negotiable, because ASPs, these people, these vendors who will validate your invoices, they are not magicians.
Yeah.
Like you will say Wingardium Leviosa and your invoice will become e-invoice. No. You have to give them the right tools, right? If you don't give them the data, how can they validate and how can they generate an e-invoice with 40 to 50 fields? If you've just given them 10 fields.
That's right.
So your system, first of all, should have that. Your master data should be updated. So that is the number one non-negotiable when it comes to implementing e-invoicing.
That's interesting, actually. And I think I see there is a big business opportunity for those who are in tech industry and those who have awareness about this e-invoicing. New opportunities opening up for them.
It's a massive opportunity, I would say. See, every consulting firm you ask, just ask them bluntly. They will say the implementation of VAT in 2018, the implementation of corporate tax a couple of years ago, and now implementation e-invoicing. These are like drivers of growth for them.
Yeah.
They have amassed a good number of clients, good amount of wealth in the last decade because of introduction of these taxes. Because before that, people were not really bothered. Like businesses were not serious enough. Now, if they don't meet the deadline, the next day, the immediate next day, they will get penalties auto-populated in their portal.
Yeah.
So they are serious. They are taking it. They are also respecting the professionals, the consulting partners. This is again a massive opportunity. Of course, people are really busy with corporate tax deadlines right now. But this is going to be the next big thing in the UAE. And as I said, it's going to be rolled out in phases. So at least for the next 2 to 3 years, we will be busy with e-invoicing.
Yeah.
Because corporate tax, of course, it's new, but it's all once in a year, right?
Yeah.
You're filing it once a year.
And people are getting used to that now.
Yeah. So it's also once a year. Like you will bother, like once you're done in September this year, you will only focus it in next year, September.
Yeah.
You will have some things going on throughout the year, but the real compliance will come at the end of the year. VAT you have quarterly, but e-invoice, if you don't meet it correctly, that means what is the consequence, Neetu? The consequence is you don't send an invoice to your customer. If you don't send an invoice to your customer, if it doesn't go through that e-invoicing architecture, your customer will never pay you. That means your business stops. If you are not getting cash flow in your business, you cannot run the business.
That's right.
Each and every day, the thousands of invoices, hundreds of invoices that you're issuing, if they are not processed correctly, so that means your business, I mean, it's not a compliance, it's a requirement, I would say. It's a
survival requirement actually for businesses.
And you can make it in a way, you can use this opportunity to make your systems as efficient as possible. As I mentioned, there are payments made to unknown accounts. POs are never processed correctly. You're sending invoices at the wrong date, wrong time, wrong customer. All these things you can bring together and eliminate all those issues. Of course, there will be some bottlenecks here and there, but in the long run, businesses will thank the UAE government.
Definitely.
They will thank UAE government for implementing this. I personally firsthand know a lot of business struggling because their suppliers are not paying their VAT correctly. Because of that, they are being denied refunds. So
it's interesting.
And they are always calling me, Ekansh, okay, when is e-invoicing coming? We want to be, we want to get safeguarded. We want to focus on business.
That's
like
right.
As I said, decentralized, right? A business owner cannot focus on each and every compliance in the company. So they also need to focus on bringing more business rather than managing all these compliances. So it's going to be
interesting. I like this thing that if we see as a business owner, if I see a bigger picture, eventually it's going to help me and all my clients and vendors and suppliers. And I think there is no escape, as you mentioned. We have to be mentally ready, start talking about it, start exploring and optimizing our current processes. So that when we have to do it, our processes are already streamlined.
Right.
And whether we like it or not, it's coming. So we have to be ready for it.
Yeah. Even if you don't put the alarm clock, it's still going to hit. The 1 July 2026 is going to come in, even if you forget about it. But the other thing, of course, it's an opportunity and it's also compliance. And sometimes we don't understand the consequence of compliance until we stop doing it. So it's like, brushing your teeth or getting ready every day or taking a bath every day. Like you don't notice all these things until you don't do it.
Like, and then it becomes habit of
Then
doing
it becomes
it.
a habit. So just don't do brush one day. You will know the consequences, right? So similarly, if you don't do these compliances, you will know the consequences. So we need to make them as a habit. And first of all, and also we need to, like in the age of AI, in the age of everything which is being transformed, the real uneducated will not be the one who cannot read, write. They will be the ones who cannot learn, who cannot unlearn and relearn.
That's right.
So I think as one of the primary things I would request each and every business owner or business leader is that they must talk. First of all, they must talk about this new compliance, understand it, and understand the consequences, how you can use it in their benefit and all of these things. So that is more important at this stage. You may not need to immediately take certain actions, but at least that awareness is very important.
Is required.
Which you are profoundly doing it through your medium, and it's such a good thing to spread awareness about this topic, because I've seen not even 1% of the market knows about it. I've seen a lot of big misconceptions. Okay, same as Saudi, my IT vendor can do it. Okay, I don't need to do that and all of that. So it's so much.
There is a lot to explore actually in this one, and we need to start talking about it. As I always say, if we start talking now, then only tomorrow we'll bring the change. And I think we need to have much more discussion. Although we had very good discussion now, and we came to know a lot of things, but I think we require more time and more discussion about it. Thank you so much, Ekansh. I love this conversation, and I learned so many things. Actually, in between, I was making notes as well.
Likewise. No, it's been a wonderful, because I'm a passionate tax technology and tax professional, so I always love speaking about this topic. So it comes naturally from the heart. And thanks for giving me this opportunity to be on this side of the table and having me, on my first podcast as a guest. And looking forward to many more. And kudos to you for spreading this awareness, knowledge, and it's super amazing thing to do. Thank you. Thanks, Neetu.
And thank you so much to our audience for joining today. I'm sure you would have learned a lot of things, but that's not enough. So Ekansh writes a lot about it, like e-invoicing, taxation, VAT. He's an expert. So follow him on LinkedIn. I'll share details in comments. Follow his podcast, Walk the Talk. His podcasts are a lot of fun as well as knowledge. So looking forward to meeting you again, and be ready for e-invoicing. Thank you.